I'm glad to meet you here. Today I want to share my experience of defining my communication style according to Toastmasters' new test. My results showed 4 basic communication styles I use. So the first is initiating and directing, which I had 4 points in each, and a supportive and analytical style, which resulted in 2 points each. Well, let us see how true these statements are. And I found this test very useful in order to explore how I developed this style. So let me start from the very childhood. So when I was a child, I was a so-called natural born leader. So although I was up to good type of child, I was an initiator in every game among my cousins and my sisters, and well, I was the initiator, so I naturally tended to develop an initiating style of communication. Later, for some reason, I don't know why, but I became a real nerd. So at the very early age, I started spending a lot of time alone reading books on astronomy with a dictionary of Russian words and different encyclopedias. So later in my early teens, when I became a loner, I became a very introvert person. I developed a direct style. Direct style's basic characteristic is that the result is much more important than relationships. So this was the type of person I was in my childhood. But in my late teens, when I was aged like 15 or 16, I started to dream about a job that was quite scientific, because I liked science very much, so I loved it. I was in love with science, but I also started realizing that I need a team, so my gregarious nature started to come out, because as I was an initiator, I needed a group, I needed a team. So my dream job was to go to some Arctic seas with a team to study whales in northern open water, risking my life with my team, etc. And I entered, at the age of 19, I entered a Scottish university to study marine biology. But, well, I didn't go to Scotland. So 4 years later, when I was 23, I had a vast experience of working in different jobs. And I was quite confident in communicating with my peers and my friends and a lot of unfamiliar people. So my initiating style became dominating in my communication. A little bit later, for the first time, I came up with my biggest challenge, which was Islam. So when I started practicing Islam, I met with a lot of bias, prejudices, and even hate. So I changed my jobs, not willingly most of the time, and this tough environment made me develop a direct style, again, when the results is much more important than relationships. So I thought that why should I bother relationship if no one wants to relate, if everyone has a lot of bias? That's why I learned how to bring a strong result that no one can argue, so no one can fire me up from my job. Well, later on, so quitting from job to job, I started realizing that I must be what I was born, a natural leader, an initiator, and entrepreneur. So when, yeah, if you're not liked, you should start your own business. When I started my own business, I understood that I can choose from a lot of type of clients I want to work with. I can choose partners, so I became free, and I can prove to people that I'm not only a direct style communicator, but also I can be relationship oriented person. So I developed these two styles that I still develop, a supportive and analytical. So I showed my partners and my clients that I can be supportive. I really care about their results. So I really care. And do you remember the Soviet film Pochtalyon?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Pochtalyon Pechkin said when he got his bicycle? He said, why did I used to be so evil? Because I didn't have bicycle. And now I'll start becoming nice. Well, what I learned from my experience of changing different communication styles is that sometimes circumstances shape your communication style. But you should never ever let circumstances dictate your relationships, how your relationship should go. So the natural conclusion I came to is that the person who can give you a bicycle and make you free in your option of choosing a communication style is only you. So, well, that was a conclusion. That was a conclusion that if you want to have a freedom of choice in different communication styles, thanks you. You can have your own bicycle. Thank you for listening.